Hi, welcome to Infinity Within Coaching Podcast. My name is Nita Kruger and I am your host. Also, this is a big milestone moment. Welcome to the first ever fully recorded Infinity Within show number 63. Lucky number 63. I hope you stick with me through the entire show today because we are going to be talking about and discussing a really unpopular, this is so unpopular thing that like it blows my mind that people are so judgy and shamey and create this space where we can't move forward in healing, right? We can never manifest or become or create the things that we want for us in our lives if we never heal from the things that are hurting us, the belief systems that we were trained, those things that keep us locked right where we don't want to be in life. So it's incredibly important that we face down the reality of this very ugly, very, what would you even, like when people all do the comments, the ugly comments on a stream, like that we have to face that down. Now, I'm not saying we have to go out there and start a war and push back, but in our own mind and in our body and our soul, we have to step away from society's angry view at the reality that you cannot heal until you accept that you've been hurt. Now, I'm going to take that a little bit deeper because what society seems to be saying right now is that you are not allowed to be a victim, that you are not allowed to be in a space of hurt and pain and be a victim of whatever has happened to you. And I'm going to be really honest with whatever has happened to you. That is going to unfold and deepen as you begin to open the door to healing. Because, like, let's just take, for instance, if you go, oh, I'm in an abusive marriage, right? My marriage is mentally and some physical abuse and gaslighting and some serious emotional stunted abuse, right? You start therapy and you're going to start realizing, if you have a good therapist, they're going to start connecting those dots to larger patterns in your life that are, it's not just one person in your life who treats you like that. There are multiple people in your life that may have treated you like that, possibly even into childhood. So some of the patterns of your behavior that have developed, your survival patterns that have developed, are not related to the person sitting in front of you causing the current abusive situation. They are related to 4 relationships back and a parent that you don't even live with anymore. You don't know all these things when you open the first door. You have no idea where your healing journey is going to go or how long it's going to take or how many breakthroughs, how many, like, holy crap, I can't believe I just learned that I didn't know that. I can't believe that I've never understood what happiness, what, absolute joy felt like. I've never been strong enough in my sense of self to sleep appropriately, to actually prioritize sleep. Side note, it is a common abuse tactic to disrupt and interrupt, control, and manipulate your sleep patterns because it keeps you locked in a state of confusion. So, don't take lightly if you're working with a therapist and they're like, well, how are your sleep habits? How is your sleep hygiene? And you're like, oh, I sleep fine. I sleep 5 hours a day, maybe 6 sometimes. That's not fine, right? It's all like our entire body, our emotional, spiritual, soulful self is all tied together. So those innate moments where somebody disrespects us to the point where over and over and over they've chiseled away at the very being of who we are, that is going to affect everything else about us. And there's just pick up any healing book that's currently on the market, and it's going to, in its way, in that author's view, it's going to tell you a similar same thing. Okay. So back to, why is it important that you accept that you're a victim? This was a really hard thing for me because I am through and through a very proud, very direct, very strong John Wayne, Louis L'Amour, like, let's get out there and fix the problem. Let's face it. Let's have integrity. Let's be direct. But all of those things that I was on the outside didn't address all the things that were happening behind closed doors, all the things that I was ignoring and hiding from the outside world, all of the things that were destroying me. I'm going to read you an excerpt from my book that's coming out soon, and it's GTFO, is Get the Fuck Out of Abuse, Narcissistic Abuse, because not all abuse happens from narcissists, but not all people are narcissists. Sometimes people just do really bad things, really, really bad things. Okay. And when people do really, really bad things to you, that creates hurt. And that makes you a victim of whatever they've done to you. Whether society likes it or not, it doesn't matter. But our mindset is often this: it'll never happen to me. It's not that bad, right? Can you imagine your mind saying this? I can't leave. Marriage is forever. I'm so ashamed. Well, what will people say? And it won't happen again. They said it won't happen again, so it won't happen again. Even though it's happened again, it's not going to happen again. Next time, I will leave next time. I'm so embarrassed. I'll lose everything. I'm staying for the kids. Not a good idea. It's better when and you can fill in the blank there with whatever you didn't do right. It's not real. And how is this my life? These statements and so many more played on auto repeat over and over for decades. And what I did not realize was that there was one thing that would make all of these stop playing on auto repeat as my life sped by on fast forward. And what was that one thing? It's honestly laughable now, decades into the micro moments. And to be here writing this, it's laughable because it's something I always possessed and I had the full power over, and so do you. The missing magic was to make it all stop. All I ever had to do was change me. And I think that that's the interesting thing. Why is this important? Fabulous book, by the way, coming out soon, and I'll keep you informed and updated on it. Yes, that is my personal opinion. It's not a personal life story. It's a recovery. It's a how-to coaching recovery guide interwoven with personal moments of growth and acceptance of my journey. But why is it important to realize, to grab onto the silver thing, that in any situation, like what do I have the ability to control? My actions, my reactions, my mindset, my attitude, how I show up, what I bring to the table. Even in an abusive situation, I can only change me. And in today's society, with this drop your victimhood, which I think is incredibly, that's like telling people not to feel. It's like telling people to shut off all your emotions, pretend it didn't happen, and get the fuck on with your life. Well, when has just yelling at the problem to stop ever made the problem stop and go away? In fact, for so many years, and we heard it there in the first, and I embellished a bit on the top part. I got a little ad-libby, But it says, I am so ashamed. What will people say? That was me. Christ, I was so ashamed of what was happening behind closed doors, and I hid it for decades. I didn't even recognize it fully. Let's get honest. I didn't fully even know. But then when I started to know, I still hid it because I was trained to do that from my whole life, trained to obey. And I was good at obeying. So how could I suddenly change me in a world that is going to guilt me and shame me for doing what's safe for me and my family? How can you possibly do that? It takes incredible self-belief, courage. It takes courage and resiliency to say, I am going to do what's best for me. And society will shame you into staying away from being a victim, because the very first thing that you've got to realize in order to heal is that you have to accept the fact that things that were out of control, out of your ability to change, happened to you that robbed you of, I'm going to let you fill in the blank there. I can feel, like, deep in my soul, I can feel the turmoil and the tears just want to start and want to roll out. And I know that that is because there is so much hurt and pain that happens to us that society doesn't want us to commit suicide, but they don't, sure as fuck, don't want us to talk about it either. Get out of your victimhood. Step out of your victimhood. Change your life. Make it happen. It isn't that easy. You cannot take somebody who has for an entire lifetime been taught to abandon everything that they think and feel and then suddenly just make it better. You have all these hurts, you have all these pains, you've been physically, psychologically, mentally, financially, digitally, you've been stalked, you've been just through the ringer, but suddenly you need to just fix it. Well, I call bullshit on that. I think that is one of the most toxic things in our society right now. This bouncing around that we're supposed to heal magically without ever understanding that we're actually a victim to somebody else's disgusting behavior. The first step to changing me, like it says here, the missing magic was that to make it all stop, all I ever had to do was change me. It took me 4.5 years of really hard work in therapy, being very self-accountable, and having my therapist really, because I wanted to change so bad, point out to me the evil atrocities that happened to me because I had so normalized them. So when you have social media and society screaming, shut up about your victimhood, I believe what they're not saying is that there are some people out there who have a minor stubbed their toes and they just stay in that space of pain. But we really can't ask people to get out of that space of pain. That has to come at their own time frame. So if society is mad that somebody is hurt or that they keep harping on the same message, then all society has to do is turn the channel from that person, unfollow them, unfriend them, move on. But by God, don't sit there and shame them, guilt them into staying right where they're at because they're not moving at your space, at your pace. The real question here for me would be is why? Why would anybody care if this person's moving at a turtle's pace and headed towards the finish line, and this person over here who has completely different trauma, completely different upbringing, completely different life, heals much faster or pretends they're healing much faster, right? Nobody actually knows what's going on inside of somebody else's soul. Very few people ever get to know each other at that level where they can truly, truly be in the presence of their soulful self. We have so many masks and we have so many protective measures, right? And that kind of brings me to an interesting thing, right? If you want the end game of your soul's desire, your purpose on earth, what's going to bring you bliss and happiness? What does that manifestation look like? It looks like you allowing people to see the genuine you. Whew, scary, right? It's not so scary. It's not so scary when you compartmentalize the fact that these bossy people out on social media don't get to have the right to shame you. They don't know your story. Even if you're talking about it outwardly on social media, they don't actually know. And why do they care? Right? If your story is just giving somebody fuel to bitch, I would hope that you would cut them out of your life. That's a boundary. That is self-love. That is what I would really hope and pray for you, that you prioritize yourself to anybody who calls you like you're stuck in your victimhood. I would just say, get the fuck out. You're not welcome here. Now, that might mean that you're going to literally cut somebody out of your life, be it permanently or temporarily. That you are going to sit down and have a conversation with somebody and say, look, I don't appreciate this. I think it's disrespectful to what I'm working on in my life, and I need a break. I need a break. How you feel about that is not my problem. That's yours. I need to protect me because that's what I've not been very good at in my entire life. We have to also look at, why are these people so opposed to victimhood, to being a victim? Again, I think there's a slight variation there, but people have to be allowed to heal at their own pace. And if somebody is stuck on stage 1 of 1.1 in the unwritten book of healing, right? Because there is no, you have to do this, then that. It could be for one person, you do this, then this, 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 this. For another person, you do this. Holy hell, I just hit ice and I'm going this way. There is no one path to healing your trauma. But the first step is admitting that you are a victim of something. A victim of, and I'm going to let you fill in the blank there, alcoholism, addiction. Why? Why did you become there? Why did you get there? There's something back there. Maybe it's genetics, right? You can be pissed off at your genetics and you can work with a therapist to be unpissed off and change your behavior. But maybe you were born to a narcissistic parent. You learned a lot of really unhealthy normals. Maybe you were born to a parent not in touch with their emotions at all. Again, you would have shut down and removed a lot of normal feelings and exploration of self. You're a victim of somebody else's lack of parenting ability. There's all kinds of things. It could be like an immediate trauma, car wreck. So it's important that we get in touch with our reality of being a victim. I've also experienced, this is why I just feel so cranky about this attack on victimhood. I have experienced also that a lot of the people out there who seem to be screaming against the reality of somebody stepping forward into healing and becoming a victim so that they can actually heal, right? Because we can't be whole and healthy, never achieving our goals, never having happiness, never working in the job that we want to work in, never, 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 never. But we can't be whole and happy and fulfilling our soul's desire and be never, never, never. we have to face what's going on, and we have to get real about what's going on. So why do people want to keep you from doing that? Why would somebody want to scream, get out of your victimhood? What kind of personality would do that? And I know you're hitting on the answer right now. I know that you are. Dominant, control bearing people. Okay. I believe there are some people out there, some entities or what would those be, like shows that you follow who scream on that, get out of your victimhood, because they're just jumping on a train. They're just jumping on a train. It gets likes, it gets views, it gets conversation started. And that's all they want is their algorithm to just jump. Well, that'll do it for you. Okay. But if you're an entity that wants to help people heal, how dare you? How dare you not meet people where they're at? Because if you want somebody to get out of their victimhood, fucking give them tools. Give them tools. Give them a guide. Give them a hand. And for fuck's sake, don't film it. I'm mad at society's hate, shame, guilt, betrayal of those on the healing journey. I'm mad at that. I'm disgusted by it. I loathe it. Recently, I saw somebody just kind of jumped on the bandwagon of this conversation about, victimhood. You're never going to heal if you're in your victimhood. Ugh. And I had a rant. It wasn't here. I should have gone on social media and ranted, but quite honestly, we can only do what we can do in a given day. And I was so mad, but I did talk to my best friend, and we had a great conversation about it, because that is a lack of genuine alignment to your authentic self and your authentic brand. And if you truly believe that people are out there in their victimhood, well, then you are likely somebody who I would boundary the hell out of my life really, really quick, because you would be somebody who's not comfortable unless you're in control, not comfortable unless you're in power, not comfortable collaborating and seeing lots of different ideas. You're not a learner. You're a demander. And I've had quite enough of those in my life. We have to start, quite honestly, the reality of our life is that we have to start at the bottom when we want to heal. And we don't know where the bottom is until we hit it. And when we hit it, we hit hard. And the first rung up, instead of escaping the pain, we have to accept that we're hurt, that we were victimized. It isn't a bad word. It isn't a terrible word. It is actually the beginning. And at that beginning point, we can then begin to reach out for help, to reach out for ways that fit our core need at that particular healing moment. Because what you need in your healing journey is going to completely change as you climb through everything that you're doing. I'm trying to think of a different way to say that. When I started in maybe 2016, 2017, just researching different ideas, because my core self, my intuition was telling me I wasn't safe and that everything that was happening was dangerous. But I didn't really know what was dangerous. I just knew it was. Everything that was happening was very normal, although escalating in rage, escalating in, that like I'm walking on eggshells, I'm being gaslit. My entire sanity is like fighting to stay alive. So I began just really, really secretly researching different things, just different little tiny things, and reading what psychologists were writing. And then I would try to work those into my marital conversation, and it would unleash rage. Why would it unleash rage? Because I was questioning instead of obeying. I was changing the terms of the agreement. I was asking to be treated with dignity, respect. I was tired of living in fear. When you hit rock bottom, your intuition is going to say, like, I need help, and you will find a way to reach out for help. And then in order to maintain getting help and not escaping to drugs, alcohol, sex, gambling, video games, like who knows what your escape might be? Food. Who knows, right? There's so many things that we can escape to. We can be addicted to. We can be addicted to people. We can be addicted to our thoughts. I was talking to my best friend about this, being just stuck in that. There was a long stage of my healing where I was literally stuck in anxiety, overthinking, dissociation, and panic attacks. Panic attacks are not fun. Anxiety is not fun. I encourage you to work through those. Reach out for tools. Get on the internet. Find a book. Find a resource. Find a coach. Get yourself to therapy and shut out the people shaming you for wherever you're at, because I'm sick of it. I am sick of victim shaming. All it does is allow abusers to abuse, and it stalls out people trying to break free. You don't deserve that. You deserve magic, authenticity, genuine relationships where people match your ethical integrity of self, where your quirky core confetti cannon self can just thrive and shine. Because by God, that's where you were born. So boundary out the people who don't belong. Trust your intuition. And if you're not positive that you want to kick them all the way out of your life, mute them, silence them. I can't tell you how many people on my own phone, my phone's right here, are muted. They're muted. They need to be in my life for one reason or another, but I don't have to listen to the phone ring or the text pop up or their wolf crying at all. So we have the power within us to change us. Now, the chaotic situations around us, we don't always have the power to leave those immediately, but we do have the power to begin taking steps to get in a better situation. And that is what I want to empower you to do and encourage you to do. I want you to get rid of all those people who are victim shaming. Just tell them to fuck the fuck off, get the fuck out. We're not having any of that in our life anymore. That's just one boundary. You don't even have to tell them. You don't have to go on the internet and re-traumatize yourself by having a fight with these people who are not ever going to see it your way. We do not want to chase people even to prove we're right. That's our trauma reacting. We don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. What we need to do is just shut them out. Just shut them out and trust. Trust in yourself. Have a conversation with your coach or therapist about that. If you don't have a therapist, if you don't have a coach, get out there and find one that aligns with your core values. When my book comes out, it's going to have an entire chapter on how to find the right, safe therapist for you. My own therapist said something. Let me see if I can scroll down here just real quick and see if I can find it. He said the most amazing thing, and I don't know if I'm going to find it in here. It's bolded, so it was easy to find. A coach or a therapist or healer can only take you in your healing journey as far as they themselves have gone. So don't be afraid to change direction when you need to change direction. Okay? This is Nita Kruger, bringing you Infinity Within Coaching Podcast, building that connection within you, because that is the connection that is going to get you everywhere that you want to be in life. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you guys next week. Thanks. Bye.